everybody? I am ABOMB. I'm here with my amazing co-host and lifelong time friend, Cryptodilly. We are Speculation Alley. We get into the nitty-gritty deep dive in of what's to come with 10KTF, what's going on, and what we think could be happening on the back end. And what we think what's going on that we want to get into with you today is the Puma and 10KTF relationship. So specifically on June 13th, Cat Block's NFTs revealed. On the same day, Puma.eth released a trailer in which 10KTF and Mr. WAGMI-San was seen in a frame that we were able to freeze, and the community did some amazing sleuthing on that one, and this is where it all begins. Dilly, you want to pick it up and take it from here for the moment?
Yeah, I'm going to play the video of the actual trailer, and then we'll kind of dissect it and show you guys the frames that we're referring to.
Exit might exist on the plane. Slipstream makes a drill in your brain. Jackets are under your seat, but you won't need them today. You'll need to learn how to do this.
All right, so that's the video, and obviously, like, just checking out the Puma Slipstream trailer, like, there's a lot to unpack there. At 26 seconds, we see WAGMI-San, the 10KTF logo branded with the, like, woman holding up the book, right? That right there is the first, like, little still image. Our community digs right in. They're like, oh my God, like Puma just posted this. Like, this is what's going on. And everybody's like freaking out on June 13th. Like, what is this? What's going on? Literally at 27 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, what's funny about that too is that when we did talk to Figgy about this later on, he said do not put us in there because the community will see us. And they did it anyway. So continue.
Yeah, it's literally like two still frames, right? You have 10KTF pop up in a still frame, and then like 2 frames later, you have WAGMI-San in his shop. Like, there's like no other like connection. It's like, boom, Puma's a partner of 10KTF before they even release it, and we were all over that, baby. So then what's really interesting, though, is at the end of the video, there's some planets and stuff moving around this Slipstream shoe. So there's a lot of alpha right there. We'll actually show you guys individual still frames to show you that. But then right after that, you know, a week later on June 23rd was the NFT NYC event, right? And so 10KTF, they put on this elaborate, you know, show where we're able to go through a portal that WAGMI-San has crafted to go into New Tokyo from, you know, the real world into the metaverse, right? And going through this experience, you're able to see like everything, all the story points inside, even Wind Moon and the ban is there with definitely not legal goods. And well, lo and behold, this is where Puma unveils themselves as a partner of 10KTF, and they unroll the you know, back of the truck, and they start screen printing these shoes or these shirts with WAGMI-San's face. They got like, they're just screen printing these things and like handing them out to the crowd, and everybody's going fucking nuts, and it's awesome. So that was our first like indication. We now know that there's a partnership directly with Puma. It may have been like leaked a little bit before, obviously leading into that. So we kind of had an idea that this was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, what other takeaways? I know that you have some different points that you had about NFT NYC and where Puma and 10KTF kind of collided there.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, seeing that, first of all, the definitely legal goods truck has been a big thing in the 10KTF history. So we've seen it in illustrations, we've seen it in different graphics, essentially. And seeing Puma inside is sort of I don't know, it's a wild thing to take from that, you know, because you're like, okay, there could be anything inside of WAGMI-San's truck, but would I have suspected Puma in there? No. And the other part that was so interesting about those shirts, I was not there, unfortunately, but I saw one of the shirts in person, and they had on the tag, we knew their logo, just as you can see in the photo that we're posting, it was on the tag. So there's some deep connections going on here, to say the least.
Yeah, well, and then a day later, Megan McDowell, she's a writer for Vogue Business Magazine, and right there she has an interview with Adam Petrick, who is the CMO of Puma. Okay, and what he goes into is really, really interesting. In the article, he specifically states, I'm actually just going to pull this up real quick. He states some really good stuff that's really interesting, and it's important to note because it alludes to what's to come. So after the NFT NYC event, you have this article come out, and within the article, let me just see if I can pull it up real fast. You have him comment about the 10KTF project. Fans of the brand can expect personalization and customization elements, an emerging trend in digital sneakers and NFT collections. So within that, they're already paying homage to the relationship that they're going to have with 10KTF and what's to come. And then, the next event, we kind of have radio silence from Puma after this article and this partnership is announced. But 1 month later, they have an event in LA around the Slipstream shoe, which is featured in the video and obviously ties that relationship with 10KTF. ABOMB, you went to that. Talk a little bit about that event.
I did. It was amazing. A July 22nd Slipstream LA event. It was wild that we were given VIP access for just being 10KTF holders to a Puma event. Again, seeing this connection, it's sort of odd to see that you can get that kind of access by being a 10KTF holder. I never suspected by buying this, I'm going to be able to get into an awesome Puma event. And on top of that, we got swag. I mean, both of these posters plus another one that I got, the Kaiju was given to me or given to my fiance by one of the shopkeepers there, and I was able to gift another one to one of the OG Swilson. So I hope she got hers put up. But yeah, I again just having this sort of utility. I got some dope threads. I don't know if I'll grab them maybe later, but I did not suspect that there was a huge connection, at least to this depths, with this big of a name brand. And seeing the Slipstreams there, I did read a couple of the descriptions of the shoes that you have in that photo, Dilly, that were saying the customizable effects that will come with this this project and this product. So that's going to really be the biggest thing that I think is going to be some of the alpha that we get into, is really when and where people are going to be able to take these NFTs or this IP that they own and customize them onto physicals. So we're getting into some shit.
The big thing about this, so the way that we're going to structure this is give you guys the timeline and all the facts. You guys will then be able to piece together the connections with us whenever we get to speculating. But the fact that Slipstream, I think the interesting part and component of this is that there was an event in New York City where people were able to get these posters like what you have in these tubes that were from, somebody, an elusive character kind of running around the 10KTF event. And then there's a shopkeeper and a back alley and all this stuff at a Puma event, right? They're literally handing out 10KTF NFT posters at a Puma event, and it gave access and obviously OG members an experience that's unlike any other project. Like you said, that's some crazy utility. But later on, August 15th is the next chance that we really see a little bit more step in the direction of where this full story is going. And it actually came from no other than Pre-Mint. And I'm just a weirdo, and I read into this really quick. There was a newsletter that was posted because I have a collector's pass with Pre-Mint, and he literally, the Pre-Mint article says, or the blast that we get, the newsletter, it says, I've been chatting this week with a major apparel brand. They are launching a free NFT claim, and we secured collector pass holders 100 spots. They're announcing it later this week. And while I have been forbidden from saying anything more by their team, I'll just say they are bringing some big cat energy. Now, that could be literally anyone, but immediately my mind was Puma. And so I rushed right into the 10KTF Discord, and I was immediately blowing up Figgy. I was like, dude, is Puma launching an NFT project this week? And this happened literally on like August 6th or August 15th is when that newsletter came out from Pre-Mint. So I'm sending this out on August 15th. The next day, Puma announces that they're going to open their Discord for a project launch. So I was like, I predicted it. Like I'm a genius. And then,
come on though, but we have to pay you some. We have to pay this man some homage now, okay? Because like he's over here speculating and like yes, granted speculation, but when it hits, it's like oh my god! And the day before, like come on, bro, like well done,
nailed it.
Yeah.
So I jump in the Discord,
like,
and like the big thing for me once I found this out, I was like, I got to get in there and I got to figure out as quickly as possible like what 10KTF holders are going to benefit from this. And so I hop in there, and the first thing I'm like looking at is like the allow lists for Puma, and all these projects are listed. As we know, like Puma's done a really good job of partnering with Web3 brands that are based around cats because it's silly, it's fun, it's playful. So Gutter Cat Gang, Cool Cats, they were obviously on the allow list. You have Cat Blocks, which was their project that they had already done. And then they had like some other random ones built in there, like Moonbirds and Pre-Mint collectors, proof holders, Woombo pass holders, Zen Academy, all these different people. The big thing that was like a shock to me right out of the gate was like, where's WAGMI? Where's 10KTF? Like in all this, like they're a premier partner and they're not there. So I was just shocked and surprised. And obviously, that's where things got really interesting was, I jump in there and I start to like message the Discord moderators because I was like, why is WAGMI-San not here? And I'm scratching my head. And so I asked, hey, is 10KTF going to be on the list? And the moderator, he says, the allow list is final, but I know WAGMI-San is up to something. So obviously they know about 10KTF, right? But the first thing I wanted to know is how 10KTF holders are going to be rewarded or where this partnership was and why weren't we on the allow list? Like no one disses WAGMI-San. And so I ask immediately, I'm like 10KTF roll with like a laughing face, just like joking. But then he like one of the moderator responds and he's like coming soon, winky face. So now they paid homage. They pay homage to us. They know that we're like legit, we're going to get a role in their Discord, but we're not allow listed. So there's still a disconnect there. And so obviously the best thing to do is kind of take a step back and realize, okay, maybe there's more to this than meets the eye. And the best thing that I can relate this process to is really Gucci and like what happened with Gucci and how that is actually that relationship actually transpired. So immediately, like I'm thinking about Gucci and the introduction onto the scene of Web3. So it wasn't with 10KTF. A lot of people that are here, they associate Gucci with Gucci Grail, but really where it started was Super Plastic was their first project, and their project launched a collection spotlighting like Gucci Bond embellished with the Gucci Love Parade aesthetics, and it was actually created by Janky and Gucci Bond. Now, this was their first like introduction to Web3, and it was like bridging the gap between Web 2 and Web 3, and it's where Gucci officially emerged into the space. Now, the reason I highlight this is because Gucci didn't have a Discord at this point. It was just like a project that they created, and it's important to like realize that history does repeat itself in a lot of different ways. So after they dropped the collection with Super Plastic called Super Gucci, it was in late February that Gucci then opened up their own Discord and began building their own audience. Like that was completely separate from Super Gucci. However, like Super Gucci had their own chat in the Discord, and they were like onboarding more people and just seeing like how big of a community that they could build in the Discord first. And then without like WAGMI-San's help, right? Like I think that's the important bridge is like bringing a Web 2 like brand into the space. Like they need to build their audience first without WAGMI-San like holding their hand. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with Puma. But once they started to build their own audience without WAGMI-San's help, like they also had in tandem, like 10KTF started to leak some different tweets. And we started to like connect the dots like immediately. The first tweet from WAGMI-San actually was a camera, his snapshot camera to like take snapshots of our wallets with a very unique, like wavy pattern design. It was very quick that we did some internet sleuthing, and our community found like Gucci was the culprit. And so we discovered that very quickly. And then March 3rd, the same camera with the strap was taken, and you can see like a mint, the mint pass, as we know now, in the actual like lens of the camera. But that snapshot was taken on March 3rd of all OGs in the Discord. On March 9th, WAGMI-San actually reveals who he'd been working with, which is actually Alessandro Michel, who's the creative director of Gucci. And they were going to release... Go ahead.
Mikel maybe has told me that we must... It's Alessandro Michel, so...
Alessandro Michel.
There we go. That's it. There you go. That's how people from Wisconsin say it, so...
But yeah, on March 9th, obviously we find out who the partner is, and it was after the partnership was announced that 10KTF began like getting the allow lists together for the community, and we already knew that like Gucci Mint Pass was going to be airdrop to OGs, but the rest of the community was able to sign up on an allow list. What was really shocking about this mint was that it was 1 ETH for each one. So like there was a lot of people that were really turned off and negative, as we know, like FUD Fridays, right? But they also took a snapshot of Super Gucci holders as well, and they were promised an airdrop as being like their first premier project. Well, in my mind, I think of the relationship of Cat Blocks and Puma in the same regard. Cat Blocks holders were just rewarded in that same regard. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But this mint pass that was with Gucci was then burned for a specific style of what is known as Gucci Grails within the 10KTF ecosystem. And so this whole process is happening like with Puma, actually happened months back with Gucci. And I think it's really interesting to kind of see the overlap. And when you start to really bridge that together, you're able to kind of see what's to come.
Yeah, it's interesting as well. Like, again, just mirroring how much it is sort of mirroring Gucci, because Gucci did, like you said, with Gugimon and Janky, they had a physical connected to that as well. So this is a bit quicker, in my opinion, like the turnaround of it all. And again, it's one of the first major brands that is utilizing an NFT for an exclusive collection that they're releasing. So we're going to see like physical collection, that is. I mean, I know that Gucci did the actual Love Parade and the festival stuff, but at the same time, this being, if you have to own this NFT to buy this, that is the first of its kind, as far as I understand that. So pretty interesting. But let's get into the let's go down to speculation alley now, man. That's what I really want to get into, is the nitty gritty stuff. Like, what does this all mean for us? You know.
One more fact, real quick. I like
no more
technical
facts.
Analysis. September 6th, there was actually a live AMA with Adam Petrick in the Discord. And one of the like highlights that he actually mentions in the Discord, like AMA, is he talks about WAGMI-San because somebody asked a question about him. And he said, WAGMI-San's particularly secretive. But what I can say is some things are coming very soon. 10KTF is a great community, and I think we're able to do some really cool things together. Now, mind you, there's also the article with Megan McDowell where he talks about 10KTF and bridging the gap and expect personalization and customization elements and an emerging trend in digital sneakers and NFT collections. Now, with this, we also see like during the 10KTF event, Puma teased that there would be a giving away co-branded Puma and 10KTF t-shirts. But the metaverse in general is a great place to get rid of the boundaries of physical worlds and create the ability to think progressively about design. And he talks about later in that same article, he says they have assumption that customization is part of the world that we live in because it's been there from day one. And so you hear the CMO of like Puma talking about all this. And yes, I'm going to get right into speculation alley with this, because with the information that we have, I can start to connect so many different dots, and it's been alpha that's like literally in plain sight. One of the first things that we see is in the Slipstream video, right? So we have WAGMI-San, like the 10KTF logos presented, and then we have WAGMI-San behind a desk, right? And we see that. Well, what's interesting is that the next day, the Vogue business article, the thumbnail is actually shows a Slipstream sneaker on the shelf behind WAGMI-San. Okay. Now, the reason that I know that that's the Slipstream sneaker is because there's like the little like rhombus box, like the shapes, the shoes, like everything is literally the exact same as what's in the video. And at the end of that video, you're going to see, you know, a pair of shoes that have like planets circling around it, like just random planets, and it's around the Slipstream shoe. And we'll post that right here so you can see like the picture of this. But what do we know that actually has planets like rotating around a shoe? Well, you've seen it in the 10KTF collection for rare like WAGMI high tops. And they have the planets right there. And once again, we're able to see that they look the exact same. Like you have the Saturn, like with the, you know, ring around it. You have like these floating planets around a shoe. So this is any indication to anybody. Like for me, what this tells me is that, okay, the connection is that we are going to get like digital sneakers, and they will be by Puma. And we're going to be able to mint our PFPs directly onto a Slipstream Puma blank that is part of the 10KTF ecosystem, right? So that right there, that's a bomb. That drops the bomb right there. Like the way that the roadmap is, and we'll throw the roadmap up, I think that's where like all the information really is. Like you can really break it down because they talk about, you know, what you're going to receive on September 13th. You receive a materializer NFT. Well, we now know that today or September 13th, you're going to actually be able to burn your Nitro Pass for an Inferno sneaker or for a Nitro sneaker. And there's 2,000 supply of each. Now, what I'm thinking is that Puma's a big brand. Yes, they do $7.7 billion, but that's a big brand, dude. Now, for them to only allow 4,000 people to hold their NFT, that's a very, very small number, considering the fact that their Discord has 17,000 members in it, right? So they could have easily sold a lot more NFTs. What they wanted to do is they wanted to bring people in and have people be able to claim this unique collectible limited item, and then they could expand their world. Notice how on the roadmap, Q3 2022, it actually shows redacted. Okay, I think that's reserved for our boy WAGMI-San. Like 110%. Like that's whenever we're gonna be the star of the show. And the reason I say that is because of something that Adam says. Like Adam literally talks about the fact that like we are 10KTF is secretive, but 10KTF like people want personalization and customization, and they want every item to be unique. Well, what better way than to go to the man, the myth, the legend, WAGMI-San, who has literally ties to every community and has intellectual property rights for each person, right? And avatar. So now you're able to actually bridge that gap between the Web3, and then you're able to put that onto a sneaker that's claimable, right? So one, I think 10KTF, like what does this mean for holders? Well, first and foremost, I think that it means that, you know, 10KTF holders are going to be rewarded. But I also think that Puma Nitro Pass or Puma Nitro Collection NFT holders are going to be rewarded from the 10KTF ecosystem in the form of a blank at first that they're able to, you know, actually mint their PFP onto, and then later a physical in Q1 of 2023. And the reason I think that these are different is because the September 13th claim, we're giving them our address and their shoe size. So that is the physical product claim of the first sneaker we're going to receive. So that obviously means that Q1 2023, it's a separate collection. And where you can actually really identify this, okay, is actually in their terms of sale, bro. Okay, so you dig a little bit deeper and you go to the terms of sale, which nobody reads, but lines 39 through 42, they talk about Black Station Sneaker World's access. This hasn't even been released yet. Nobody knows about it, right? And it says the Nitro Pass NFT
back on.
Go. The Nitro Pass NFT entitles owners to access the Black Station Sneaker World through the Black Station website to explore Puma's metaverse portal, which provides virtual experiences. The Nitro Collection NFTs unlock special content for the owner at the Black Station Sneaker Worlds. The access to the Black Station Sneaker Worlds is limited to a certain period. Okay. And this will be the first glimpse at customization on a broader level. Like the way I think of it is like the customization of each shoe, similar to like how you were able to go into Nike and like do a Nike ID and blend that with Web3. Imagine any parent project that you have intellectual property rights to. Well, you have a premier partner brand like Puma who wants to give everybody personalization and customization and blend the worlds together. Well, we're going to be able to get these shoes that have our PFP on them as physicals, like literally next year. Like this is where it's going. Like that's my alpha. Like that is not tinfoil. Okay, it's 100% tinfoil, but my speculation is that we're getting it. You know, like, what do you think? Like, are you excited? Does that like jazz you up? Like with all the information that we have?
Yes, it gets me going. Obviously, I'm like, and on top of the fact that it like connects so simplistically in ways like, and has an actual track record that we can compare it to, such as Gucci and how they did things. I mean, it's dude, I'm just super excited. But what I have to go further into Speculation Alley with part of this would be to ask maybe viewers or anybody else that's involved would be, what do we think about Puma making the play then to become sort of coupled with 10KTF, because we've also seen what Herman Urala has posted with Improbable and all that stuff in 10KTF. So what if 10KTF is positioning itself to be the digital creator who has of, you know, these wearables or whatever you have you, and they're outsourced or companied now with, partnered with Puma to then outsource all of these in that way? That would be an insane move for Puma to play right now, because I don't know that all these other clothing companies are doing this, if any, putting themselves in a position to be like, we will take on customizable orders and we will get them out to people. Like, you're going to be talking about like IP rights going through the roof now, where people are going to print certain apes. There's going to be different like gangs and guilds of like just specific PFPs. You know what I mean? Like, there may be one Bored Ape Yacht Club out there that everyone's like, yo, I'm Crazy Carl, Crypto Carl, bro's a perfect example. Think about all the sweaters Crypto Carl, Crazy Carl would order and then have himself, you know, printed on and shipped out to all his holders and whatnot. That's an insane ability.
Shout out to the Carls.
Carls.
I mean, the thing about it, the biggest thing about this is like, if you're gonna make a play, right, you would have to partner with a company that has the capacity to be able to deliver on that scale. And Puma can deliver, right? And I think what, you know, was interesting is that the 10KTF event in New York City was like a glimpse into that, right? It was like tease. It was like Adam Petrick's like, we're going to do this and we're going to be the premier partner with 10KTF. WAGMI-San is going to be able to do this for, you know, the world. At least the community at large right now. And one of the biggest things that I really want to notate, kind of tying this even further, is like, we have a battle for New Tokyo with a mech, okay? Now, if you remember, of December 16th, let me take you back to 2021, okay? December 16th, WAGMI-San, 10KTF, they tweeted and they said, friends, physicals will be distributed based on participation in Battle for New Tokyo in April 2022. You will not be able to help WAGMI-San without a 10KTF item. Remember, physicals are only part of WAGMI-San's journey. Now, the reason I bring this up is it's important to realize who's going to get these. Like, who's going to get the Slipstream blank NFT that I'm speculating that we're going to have? I think that your participation right now in Battletown is what is really going to warrant that. And the reason I say that is because there's a direct link between the mech right here in this tweet and physicals. And I think that once we actually finish out this battle for New Tokyo, who's going to be making all these physical items for 10KTF? Well, it's Puma, right? Like, based on the information, the intel that we have, like, it makes sense that everything kind of lines up and everything kind of is unraveling in that direction. And one of the best like links that I really think suggests that all this comes together is within the pictures. Like, 10KTF has done this for so long. They tell us alpha is in plain sight. And if there is no other alpha that you can actually like view and like make this connection, it's literally the Slipstream NFT like or slipstream sneaker in the background of WAGMI-San, and then the slipstream trailer with planets going around the shoe. Like that by itself, like that's it. Like that gets me jazzed to the tits.
Essentially, what I want to get at is how you're pointing out the mech and how how you get physicals with the Battle of New Tokyo, which is currently going on, and essentially the Puma stuff in NYC was in the definitely legal goods truck, which the mech is either chasing or escorting somewhere. So I don't know, man. It could be like, what are we talking here? Like, we got like a definitely legal goods truck filled with Puma gear on our way to us. Is that what we're talking about? I'm all for it.
Now, a good point on that too, though. Like, think about this. Like, this team is 9 months ahead, right? If that is true, what we're talking about, like this partnership with Puma, that is 9 months old at least. Because they're talking about these, the definitely legal goods. They're talking about physicals. Like, this team is brilliant, dude. They've been strategizing what's to come for months ahead of time, and they've been assembling this. And what's really interesting is the overlap in the coincidences in the timeline. Like, Cat Blocks, they reveal their NFT on the same day that the Slipstream, trailer comes out, and then something that you said before the show even started was that Figgy told you that, we weren't, or 10KTF wasn't supposed to be featured in the Puma video because he knew the sleuths of 10KTF would get to the bottom of it. That's Speculation Alley, baby. We're going to find you. And here's a little extra alpha for those who want to know. I read the smart contract and I found on line 1345 or something, we'll post it here, that Wumbo Labs actually developed the smart contract for the Nitro Pass. The reason I even looked into that is I had speculation. I was like, we knew Labs definitely created the smart contract. But I had to debunk myself because we fact check here. That's how we're able to connect the dots and make the points valid, is because we know that the connections are strong, they're solid, and they are factual. We are getting shoes, baby.
Let's go, bro. When you dropped some of this on me earlier, I was like, I told you, I got goosebumps all over my body because, again, when you think about the track record of WeKnew and sort of their partnerships and what they're setting up, if you really see the big picture, like what I think we all see here, which is what we're saying is like there's an IRL company that produces clothing and a good quality of clothing that is pairing with a digital like clothing company to some degree, and they're going to be able to print customizable items. Like, again, this is insane that this is happening. The things that are going through my mind too are kind of what you said, how long ago this was. We got pictures of the mech in December, and if the mech was coupled with sort of a physical reveal of some kind in the Battle of New Tokyo, all of these elements need to play out in pristine order. They need to come out with almost zero error, essentially, which we've seen WeKnew pretty much do, or at least under 0.1 error, so or 1%. But they're pretty impressive. I cannot wait to see if any of this is true. Remember, everyone, this is Speculation Alley. We don't fucking know if any of this is real, so just be aware of that. First of all, we might not get any shoes. So if so, Dilly's address is.
I think one of the big things to highlight too, though, is also like when you're looking at this, the connection to like Gucci, right, and how that drop happened. It's interesting to think like, okay, we're not going to get this, like we're not introduced to WAGMI-San within the Puma world until much later, right? And that's for a good reason. And I think it's really kind of important to like realize where we're at in the storyline. Like, yeah, 10 KTF holders are going to be rewarded, but in my opinion, I think the like real highlight is the fact that Nitro Pass holders or this Puma NFT, they're going to be introduced to the 10 KTF world. And very similar to Gucci, when the Super Gucci holders received this mint pass that they could create a crafted like a Gucci Grail, well, they may not have even had parent NFTs to be able to craft onto their, their Aria or Love Parade NFT, right? So we have the same kind of thing where we're bridging a Web 2 apparel brand with Web 3, and we're doing it through communities. And so I think there's so much overlap. There's so many different connections. It's a no-brainer for me. It makes the most sense. And I think all the ties and all the connections, like, this is the story. And yeah, I can't wait to see everything unravel. I can't wait for September 13th when I claim my shoes. And yeah, if you guys found this video interesting, if you actually agree with my speculation or disagree, feel free to drop a comment below, like the video, turn the bells on, so that way you get future notifications when we drop a video.
Turn the bells on.
Ring the bell, because we're ringing our bells. We got concussions over here. That's why we got the tinfoil hats, because we don't know what we're talking about, but we're hopeful. We have hopium, and we're excited for next week's episode. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you stopping by. More speculation to come. Peace.